Good morning everyone. Myself Shalila Osmani, lecturer. I am giving the information about the third semester subject fabric structure. In that, second unit is yarn twist and the yarn count. Today's session is 7th session. Earlier you have discussed about the objective, importance of the twist, types of the twist, and how to identify the twist of the given yarn, and yarn count, definition of the yarn count, and system used for the finding the yarn count. There are 4 systems: direct system, indirect system, universal system, and folded yarn count. These are the 4 systems used to find out the yarn count. Again, in the direct system, they are mass per unit length, text and the denier. Indirect system, length per unit mass, English cotton count system, and metric count. Universal, text is the universal system, as you know earlier. And last one is the folded yarn count. It is not used because it is very difficult to find out that. Study of yarn count for cotton. How will you count the yarn count of the cotton? The standard for the yarn count in cotton is 1 pound of fiber drawn out to make 840 yards of yarn. The resultant thickness or size is known as the count number 1 or NE1. The standard yarn count for the cotton is 1 pound of fiber drawn out of the 840 yards of the yarn. The resultant thickness or the size is known as the count number, that is 1 or NE1. It is denoted by NE1. If the yarn is drawn out further so that 1 pound makes twice 840 yards, it is defined as NE2 or 2 years. If it is a 1 pound drawn out from the 840 yards, it is NE1. If it is a 1 pound makes twice, that is drawn out further, it is denoted as 2 years or the NE2. Thus, NE2 yarn will be finer than NE1. So, as the number increases, the finer the yarn. The higher the number of the yarn count, the finer the yarn size. So, in the cotton, it is a direct system. It is higher the number of the yarn count, finer the yarn size. Yarn count up to NE20 are called coarse yarn. So, up to the 20, if the after calculation it comes 20, within the 20 it is called coarse yarns. 20 to 60 are medium yarns, about 60 are the fine yarns. About 60 and above, they are the fine yarns, if the yarn count lies in between these numbers. Yarn counts of filament continuous strand fibers such as silk and nylon are designated according to denier, which is an entirely different system of measuring yarn diameter. So, cotton, you know that 840 yards in the 1 pound, but in the silk and the nylon, they are designated according to the denier, which is entirely different system measuring the diameter, yarn diameter. The size or the yarn count of silk threads is based on a system of weight known as denier. So, silk is based on the weight of the yarn, size of the count, that is as a denier. A denier represents a weight of 0.07 gram and the standard length of the silk skein is 450 meters. You have to remember, if the denier represents a weight of a 0.05 gram and the standard length of a silk skein is 450 meters. So, standard length is 450 meters. This represents the denier. If the weight of the yarn is W grams, that is denoted by W grams, and the length of the yarn is L meters, that is the length is denoted by the capital L meters, then the Lee count of the yarn is obtained as follows. So, you have to remember this formula. If the weight of the yarn is W grams and the length is the L meters, then the Lee count of the yarn is as follows. Number of hanks of 300 yards, that is 300 yards is equal to length into 100 divided by 254 into 36 into 300. So, if this is the number of hanks of 300 yards, you have to multiply the length into 100 divided by 254 into 36 into 300. weight in pounds of the LBs is equal to W divided by 453.6. This is the weight in the pounds. Lenin count, Li is the Lenin count. Num is equal to number of hands of 300 yards. Number of hands of 300 yards divided by weight of the yarn in pounds. So you need the number of hands of 300 yards divided by weight of the yarn in pounds. That is L into 100 divided by 2.54 into 36 into 300 divided by W weight divided by 453.6. This is the formula you have to remember. That is, it equals length into 100 into 453.6 divided by W into 2.54 into 36 into 300. So Lenin count, that is Li, is equal to L into 1.653 divided by weight. So this is the formula to find out the Lenin cotton, that is the L into 1.653 divided by weight. This is the formula you have to remember. Suppose that the weight of the yarn is W grams and the length of the yarn is L meters. Number of the hands of 560 yards is equal to L into 100 divided by 2.54 into 36 into 560. Here weight in pounds is equal to W divided by 453.6. Worsted count is equal to number of hands of 560 yards. Number of hands of 560 yards divided by weight of yarn in pounds. That is L into 100 divided by 2.54 into 36 into 560 divided by W divided by 453.6. This equals L into 100 into 453.6 divided by W into 2.54 into 36 into 560. Thus, worsted cotton is equal to L into 0.8858 divided by W. This is the formula for finding the worsted count. So you have to remember this formula also. Suppose that the length of the yarn is L meters and the weight of the yarn is W grams. Number of hands of 256 yards is equal to L into 100 divided by 2.54 into 36 into 256. Weight in pounds LBs W divided by 453.6. Woolen count. For the woolen count, woolen count is equal to number of hands of 256. For this 256, for finding the woolen count divided by weight of the yarn in pounds, that is L into 100 divided by 2.54 into 36 into 256, that divided by W divided by 453.6, that equals L into 100 into 453.6 divided by W into 2.54 into 36 into 256. This equals woolen cotton count is equal to L into 1.9377 divided by weight. This is the formula for finding the woolen count. That is, if the length is L and the weight is W grams. Yarn counts of filament continuous strand fibers such as silk and the nylon are designated according to the denier. The size of the yarn count threads is based on the system of the weight denier. You know the denier, it is 0.05 gram and the skein is 450 meters. This is the direct system, yarn numbering system, text and the denier. In a direct system, we are using text and the denier. Symbolic abbreviation, text T, denier, TT, DT. Denier, TD means denier, TT means text. Unit length 1 kilometer in the text and in denier 9000 meters. Unit of mass 1 gram and the for denier also 1 gram. Unit of yarn count gram per kilometer, that is gram per kilometer. Here gram per 9000 meters, that is unit of yarn count, that is unit of mass divided by unit of length, that is gram mass is in the terms of the grams divided by kilometer, it is gram divided by 9000 meters. This is the direct system of finding the for the symbolic abbreviations and the formulas. In indirect system, yarn numbering, cotton count, last linen, woolen, worsted and the metric. The cotton count is represented by NEC. Glass NG, NEL, Lenin. Woolen NAC and NEC, and worsted NAW and NM, metric. Indirect system. Unit of length, for cotton count 840 yards are the hangs, this is fixed 840 yards, and unit of mass 1 pound, that is 1 lb. Unit of yarn count 840 yards divided by lb. Unit of length divided by unit of mass. In the direct system, unit of mass divided by unit of length, but here interchange opposite, that is unit of mass divided by 840 yards. Conversion to text value 590.5. You have to remember this, conversion to text value 590.5. So unit of yarn count 840 yards divided by pounds. For Lenin, NEL 300 yards, that is Li. 1 unit of mass is 1 lb, that is 1 pound, and the unit of yarn count is 300 yards divided by 1 lb, that is unit conversion to text is 1654.0. This is the conversion to text values. For the glass NG 100 yards and the L 1 pound unit of mass, so unit of yarn count 100 yard divided by lb, that is 4961.0. This is the conversion to text values. Next is the woolen NAC, that is the unit of length 300 yards, a unit of mass 1 lb, and unit of yarn count 300 yards divided by lb, 1 pound, that is conversion factor same, that is 1654.0. For the worsted NAW 560 yards hangs, unit of mass is 1 pound. Here unit of yarn count is 560 yards divided by lb, pound, that is 885.5. For the metric NM 1 kilometer, that is the unit of length 1 kilometer, unit of mass 1 kg, that is 1 kilometer divided by per kg, that is 1000. This is the formulas of the unit of length or the unit of mass. You have to remember conversion of the text. You have to remember for the indirect conversion of the indirect system. Table for yarn numbering. Cotton yarn numbering system, English cotton, that is standard length is hang, that is 840 yards. The standard weight 1 pound, that is count hangs divided by 1 pound. You have to remember table this. Cotton for the metric kilometer, kilogram, that is kilometer per gram, kilogram. For woolen English cotton count, skein 256 yards, standard weight 1 pound, skein divided by 1 pound. Lenin, the weight spun numbering system, hang 300 yards, 1 pound, 1 hangs per pound, that is you have to remember. The spun rayon English hangs 840 yards, English 840 yards, 1 pound, and hangs divided by 1 pound. These are the table for the yarn numbering system used, and the standard length and the standard weight, and you have to remember the count formula, that is hangs divided by lb, kilometer divided by kilogram, skein per pound, hangs divided by pound, hangs divided by pound. These are the systems used. You have to remember all these formula and the conversion tables to calculate the yarn count. So go through this. If any doubt, you can ask, and thank you.